Korea. Not many of us know much about it. Its people, as much as they're blocked from accessing the outside world themselves, are shrouded from our eyes as well. As a participant in the 2015 Pyongyang Marathon, I was given the opportunity to travel above the 38th parallel, to meet some of the people, see a few of the notable spots, and take a remarkable run around a normally extremely private city. The story of my trip to North Korea starts in the evening at the Pyongyang Okryu restaurant in Shanghai. This is where runners participating in the Pyongyang Marathon met for our trip orientation. Our group was diverse, full of people from all over the world, all looking to get a peek at the DPRK. Our flight was an extremely early one, leaving Shanghai Pudong Airport at 3 a.m. and arriving in Pyongyang, North Korea, about an hour and a half later.
Okay, so we just arrived. I'm in the bus, and we went through customs, and it wasn't so bad, to be honest. Went right through. And there's no real armed guards here that I'm seeing, which is another thing I thought there'd be people with AKs. I thought there would be soldiers. It's not as bad. So that was a 40-minute drive to the hotel. So, Jayoe.
After a long, dark, bumpy bus ride, we arrived at the Yangkado International Hotel, and wearily we got to our rooms to catch a few hours sleep before morning really set in. By 9 a.m. we were back up, grabbing a quick breakfast on our way out the door for a tour of the city. Our first stop was a visit to the Mansu Hill Grand Monuments of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. This is an important location for North Koreans, and even our tour guides dressed up for the occasion. The first statue of Kim Il-sung was built in 1972. Kim Jong-il's statue was added in 2012, a year after his death. Both statues have been altered since their initial construction. The adjustments at the behest of Kim Jong-un changed the enormous bronze overcoat jacket on his father's statue to an equally enormous casual bronze jacket, and adjustments were also made to his grandfather's thin-lipped smile, changing it to his telltale open-mouthed, big-toothed grin.
Left and right side is the bronze statue is the show to the construction of the socialism and anti-imperialism. This left statue it shows to the anti-Japanese guerrillas.
So we're in Pyongyang. I just went to the English bookstore, and behind me is the Pyongyang department store. And it's really interesting because the bottom floor of the department store is aisles and aisles and aisles of shelves, and the shelves are completely empty. And you'll find that like a lot of these stores around are are really barren. There's display racks with nothing under them. There are like entire setups with nothing supported. It's kind of wild.
We've all seen this square. Although when we've seen it on TV or in the news somewhere, it's most likely filled with around 100,000 people and more than likely playing host to some nuclear weapons. This is how the square looks on an average, overcast North Korean day.
The building here, this is Korean Central History Museum. Actually, this history museum was built 100 days after our country was liberated. That's in 1945. At that time, this museum used to be in Moran Hill, another side of Pyongyang city, but later, President Kim Il-sung instructed to move this museum here to center of Pyongyang city so that people can visit here easily and at any time. And that building is Korean Art Gallery. There are displayed paintings drawn by famous artists of our country and also of other world famous paintings too. It's like not only display the paintings but also we study and research about the paintings. And the building in front, that's Grand People's Study House. Simply it's like a national big library, but it's not that we only lend, borrow books. We also have lectures there, and there is also a consulting room where we can have talks about the things we are not sure of. That building was built in 1982, celebrating the 70th birthday of our President Kim Il-sung. And these portraits of our leaders were put on that side in 2012, after our great leader Comrade Kim Jong-il passed away in 2011.
And if you're wondering why in those pictures you see on the news, the people look so in sync and organized, this is why. Each white marker in the ground signifies a person and designates where they should be standing during those events. Sometimes, even conformity has to be directed somehow. Across the Taedong River from the square rises Juche Tower. Our guide, Mr. Kim, in his casual but straight-faced manner, informed us all that this was the tallest tower of its kind in the world. At the time, I figured it was all false propaganda, but as it turns out, Mr. Kim was not entirely wrong. The Juche Tower is, from what I was able to find out, the largest granite tower of its kind in the world, standing 170 meters tall. After we left the square, we took another short bus ride to a restaurant to get some lunch. It was here that I was introduced to the joy of drinking North Korean beer. North Korea actually has quite a talent for brewing good, quality, tasty beer. On the road, and our tour begins again. Through the windows of the bus, we were able to see places like the Western Gate of Pyongyang Castle, the People's Culture House, Pyongyang Indoor Stadium, the Ice Rink Building, and the Health Complex Building.
That's the building where we can have a bath, barbers, swimming pool, and beauty shop, everything. It's complex for a health complex. Please, I want you to be serious too, just as when we were in front of statue of our leaders. Please don't speak, laugh in a loud voice, or spit on the ground, or smoke. And in front of the house, there is a stairs, and you must not step on them.
This was the warning we got from our guide before we got to the next stop on the tour, the Kim Il-sung ancestral home. Although there is quite a lot of debate whether this is his actual home, a copy of the original, or just a complete fabrication. Whatever the case, it was promoting a message that he started from humble beginnings.
Our
president was born here on April 15, 1912. 1912, at the time our country was under the Japanese rule. Our President Kim Il-sung, in this humble house, experienced the hard living condition of the Korean people as the criminal slaves by the Japs, and made up his mind to devote himself to the struggle for the liberation of the country.
Our guide told us all about Kim Il-sung's family history, living impoverished with his family under Japanese oppression, and how he was inspired to leave his family to fight with the Chinese against the Japanese.
We Korean people love this country very much. Our president is the eternal president of this country, and he is the founding father of the socialist Korea. So the house is a very precious house for the Korean nation.
The music is nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, go to the community reserve. Write down this personally.
Moving on, we visited a large sporting complex of buildings. The building we visited was dedicated to the skills of archery and shooting.
$0.50.
50 cents.
All right, I'm in.
50 cents. So 10 rounds.
So now we are at the shooting range in North Korea, and they're going to give us a chance to fire a bullet for 50 cents. Oh no. That was fun.
The Pyongyang Metro was next on our tour. Our visit starts with an escalator that descends over 100 meters into the earth, revealing a cavernous and breathtaking Pohang station. The subway doubles as a bomb shelter, which is why it's so deep. Similar deep metro systems can be found in Russia, and it can be argued that the Moscow Metro was the inspiration for the Pyongyang Metro. Now, we were only able to ride the subway from Pohang to Yongwang Station, which are both beautiful in their own right. The end of our tour day saw us at the Arch of Triumph, which stands in front of the Kim Il-sung Stadium.
This arch is 60 meters high, 11 meters higher than that in Paris. On the upper part, you can see the Korean letters engraved. That's the song of General Kim Il-sung. In 1945, when our President Kim Il-sung liberated our country, our people were very thankful for him because he ended a 40-year Japanese colony. At that time, we composed the song of General Kim Il-sung in praising about the president. On the left side of the arch, there is the year 1925 engraved. In 1925, he left home and determined never return back before liberating our country. And 1945 is the year when President Kim Il-sung liberated the country and returned in triumph. So we say our President Kim Il-sung led 20-year anti-Japanese revolutionary struggle and then won victory. The street that we came by is called Gaesan Street, and Gaesan, it means return in triumph.
Finally, we were able to set foot in the Kim Il-sung Stadium, a location where we will begin and subsequently end our run scheduled for tomorrow.
You know, it's very cool.
Back at the hotel, we were introduced to the enormity of the marathon about to take place. Hundreds of people from all over the world now filled the lobby of the Yangkado International Hotel, creating an atmosphere of excitement, anxiety, and overall chaos. I decided to bed down early, avoid the chaos, and rest up for tomorrow.
All right, so it's race morning. It's kind of run morning, I guess. The bus is getting ready behind me. And this morning I came upon a scare. Hi, Dad! How are you? I woke up and I didn't realize that we had passed off our passports. I'm an American without a passport right now, and I had passed it off to the organizers with my visa. And I woke up and I thought, I'm an American and I can't find my passport. I freaked the frick out. Then I realized, if you know me, you know I forget things very easily.
The marathon has attracted people from all over the world. This is only the second year that foreigners were even allowed to participate.
Okay, here goes. He's instructing. Ready? And go. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The guy in the beginning, Okay, here we go. Pyongyang Marathon. It has started. There we go. See you later. Thank you. We're number 1. Thank you. Cool. Our 10K finished early, and soon we found ourselves marveling at the crowd gathered in the stadium to watch the marathon. The marathon runners weren't the only things to watch. It seems all the stops were pulled to entertain the throng of spectators there that day. It's all for you, buddy. It's all for you.
Yay! Champion of the world!
Eventually, the event came to an end, and as quickly as they populated the stadium, 50,000 North Koreans now made their way back home. For us, we all returned to our prospective hotels to get some food and unwind.
Well, everybody's finished the race. We're having, I'm finishing off some beers because everybody else has gone up to the room to pack, At 3:30, we're going to a new hotel that's supposed to be interesting, and then the next day, tomorrow, we're going to the DMZ, which is the demilitarized zone, and we're going to go see that tomorrow. So my whole group is changing to the next hotel, so everybody's packing up. But riding around the world, you learn how to live light. So I have everything in my backpack, and I packed up before I left for the marathon today. So I'm just sitting here alone in the restaurant where everybody was eating before, but I got nowhere to go until 3:30, which is coming in about 15 minutes. I'm watching a bunch of TV and North Korean TV. It's all very government-centric. It's very interesting to see North Korea from this perspective. Obviously, it's not the way it is everywhere, but even if it is accentuated, you can see how this country is kind of set up in broad terms. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Very cool.
The next morning introduced us to the Victorious Fatherland Liberation War Museum.
And you see, outside we display the weapons of our Korean peoples over there, and we call it Merited Weapons Exhibition. And there we also display the captured weapons from the U.S. imperialists during the Korean War and after the Korean War, and we call it Captured Weapons Exhibition.
So where we are now is the War Museum, and there's a bunch of captured American weapons here, where you can take a look at all the swag that the North Koreans came out of at the end of the war. Interesting.
So here these weapons are spy weapons because they were captured after the Korean War. But you see here this helicopter was captured in 1963 around Panmunjom. Have you been to Panmunjom?
No. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow you are going. Okay, so you see the picture. At that time, 2 men are arrested, and those 2 guys are the crews of this helicopter. And you see here, this is unmanned mini submarine. And here this submarine was captured in 2004 in the East Several country. Okay? Okay, now we're going to see the U.S. armed discussion.
They have some really interesting stories that they're telling. One is that they're dropping chemical weapons on Americans were dropping chemical weapons on North Korea. And I asked her, what were the chemical weapons? And she said there were mosquitoes and insects that were dropping chemicals on the North Koreans. Forget Agent Orange. It's Agent Mosquito. Then we moved on to the USS Pueblo, a captured cargo ship turned American intelligence ship that was captured by the North Koreans during the war.
During the battle, 1 man was killed and 3 guys were wounded, and we are sent them back after 11 months after we received the letter of apology from the US government. I can remove this right now.
There was a strange humor being cast off our tour guide, and I would consider it charming if it wasn't for the fact that I was amidst such strange circumstances.
But you see here, this middle one is ice cream machine used by the enemies at the time. Yes, this is ice cream machine.
Ice cream machine.
Yeah, but we don't have ice cream now. And here's ice box.
Bullet holes, maybe?
So here in this room, 24 sailors as part of the main military information of our country with using these equipment. So the sailors who worked in this room, they all received education from CIA. And here are their documents, and these are proving the espionage in our territorial water, and their ID cards here. And here this picture shows a man who was killed at the time. I tell you 1 man was killed? Okay, we're going now.
Our guide at the museum seemed nice enough, so I decided to take an opportunity to ask her a question that I had been aching to ask a local since I arrived. And I apologize for the bad quality. I was trying to be as inconspicuous as possible and not shove a camera in her face.
What is your opinion of Americans today? Are they bad people, good people, what do you think? No, really.
Well, the Korean people, they just hate the US government because they are also doing the many espionage against the republic. But about the local people, I mean the civilians,
Yeah.
we don't hate them.
Yeah, I'm American. I mean,
Oh, yeah, so
you
that's
hate me?
I don't hate you.
Okay, good. I hope not.
So here, these numbers represents our achievements. How many weapons we destroyed and how many enemies we arrested. Okay, now we're going inside the museum and no pictures inside.
On the road again, and we're on the way to the DMZ and the 38th parallel, the line marking the separation between North and South Korea. At the DMZ, we're reminded of how dangerous and on the brink of war North Korea really is.
판문점이 바로 이렇게 쌍방이 되시는 가장 위험한 것입니다.
Panmunjom is the most dangerous place where the war and peace confront each other.
오늘 우리는 참관을 통해서 미제보에 둘러가진 우리나라의 힘을 직접 보게 될 것입니다.
Through a visit to Panmunjom today, we can see the reality of our country, which is divided by the United States into two.
여기서부터 여러분들의 신변 안전을 위해서 무기를
A member of the North Korean military led us through this area, telling us about the history of this place. Of course, it was all from the North Korean perspective.
여기가 바로 정전 담판장입니다.
This is building where armistice talks were held.
1950년 6월 25일 미제는 우리 공화국을 반대하는 침략 전쟁을 일으켰습니다.
On the 25th of June 1950, the United States broke the war against our republic. MacArthur confessed this war was his plan. At that time, MacArthur was the commander of UN forces. The then chief of general staff, he said that the Korean War was a wrong war against wrong enemy at a wrong place and at a wrong time. In order to hide their shamefulness in the war and to expand the war against our republic, they proposed armistice talks to us in June 1951. When we were discussing about the place to have this signing ceremony, the United States suggested to have the signing ceremony at the outside or in a temporary tent. And they talked about what they call tent design.
이것은 저들의 패망상을 역사에 남기지 않게 하려는 매우 교활한 실책이었습니다.
This was kind of a tactic of them, not to leave their shameful image to the history of their country. President Kim also instructed that signing on the armistice agreement is our Korean people's victory, that the United States had been defeated for the first time in its history. So we have to have signing ceremony on a big scale. So our Armenian people finished this building in just 5 days in such a difficult conditions of war. Signing ceremony was held in this building 2 days later, and that's on the 27th of July 1953 from 10 a.m. for 15 minutes. Ours now from our side, Nam Il, the Chief of General Staff, signed here. From the United States, William Harrison signed there.
유엔기를 내놨습니다.
And they put up UN flag.
미제가 유엔기를 내놓은 것은 저들의 침략상과 패망상을 유엔의 이름으로 가리기 위한 교활한 실책이었습니다.
The reason they put up UN flag was to hide their shamefulness under the name of UN. United States knelt down in front of Korean people. They were so shameful that they even forgot to take UN flag back. The flag inside the black box is the one that they put up at that time. As the time passed by, the flag has been discolored, but the United States' ambition to aggress our country has not been changed yet.
만약 미제와 그에 추종하는 세력들이 또다시 우리나라에서 전쟁을 일으킨다면 이 땅에서 침략자들은 한 놈도 살아 돌아가지 못할 것입니다.
If the United States and its satellite states, if they try to occupy the country again, not even one soldier will be alive here.
여기 있는 책상과 의자가 그때 당시 것들입니다.
Desks and chairs were used at that time.
자, 그러면 사진들을 돌아보겠습니다.
Yeah, now let's look around the pictures.
When I heard the speech, a lot of what I had been wondering became clear. It was fear of the US attacking again that was keeping everyone distracted from turning their attention inwards towards their own policies. As long as there was a large enough imminent threat from outside, then the status quo would continue. But I saw the faces, I saw the children, and I could tell that this was a country full of good people. This was not the country of angry, hateful individuals that the rest of the world imagined. It was simply a country full of people that were unable to grow beyond imposed borders. But times, they are a-changing. And someday soon, the people of the DPRK will be able to make up their own minds about the world outside their borders. As a final send-off to North Korea, I stopped off at a local postage store to pick up some souvenir postcards. One more strange experience as an American that ran off to the DPRK.